So David, a 2-2 draw against Congleton Town today, a good Congleton Town side. I suppose probably the first question really is, it's a massive crowd today, so we've got 900 in today. We've got all the stuff before the game with Remembrance Sunday and laying the reefs, and there's a lot going on today. And sometimes that detracts from a game of football and it puts some of the nerves into players or has that feeling in there. But it was a really good game of football for the neutral and for both sets of supporters to watch.
Yeah, I thought two very good sides. I thought Congleton were really well organised. I thought there's lots of questions, particularly first half when they were going forward. I thought the left back in particular got forward really well. I thought the 9 and 10 linked up well. Napper coming off the right scored a great goal, and the four bags of experience and bags of quality. I thought they were really good sides. You can see why they're up near the top of the league, and I think a draw was probably a fair result. If you look at possession and territory, certainly second half, I thought we had the lion's share of it, but if you look at chances created, pretty even. And they will rightly question a disallowed goal. I need to watch it back. Every corner they crowd the goal line and look to find something up. I thought for whatever reason we'd allowed Richard Duffy to get free. Whether there was somebody holding or blocking or whatever, I don't really know. I didn't really see the foul initially, but the referee gave it. He must see something I hadn't. What I would argue is we probably should have had a penalty a couple of minutes before that. So it's rare. People all say these things even themselves up over a season. It's rare they even themselves up over a couple of minutes, but I think we probably did today, and a draw was a fair result. And if you look at that, that's a very good Congleton side in form. A good point, and that's 4 points from 3 games against 3 of the real informed sides in our league. I think that's not a bad return, and probably disappointing we haven't done better, but also a good response. I mean, lost last week, and we're very keen that we don't become that side we've been in previous seasons where we have 6 good games, 6 bad ones. So to put in a really good performance today, to show a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of quality in the second half in particular, and get a result was massive.
Game to have tonight.
First half we struggled to get out. I thought first half our front three didn't hold the ball well enough. I thought the gaps between our back four and front three were a bit big. I didn't think we were brave enough in possessions to find midfielders in tighter areas, which meant we went long from back to front. So even when we kept the ball 5-6 passes, the next ball would be too long and too straight, and we weren't really troubling them. I think we had a decent chance that Eric created out nothing early on, but other than that, we kind of often puffed and didn't really create a lot. They didn't create loads, but probably definitely had most of the territory and definitely had the better in the first half. But second half we had a lot of the ball. I thought we moved the ball really well. I thought we put good balls into areas, good crosses, forced the keeper into a couple of saves. But I thought they defended the box incredibly well. I thought they were an organised side, and their response to our equaliser was positive. They put extra forwards on, asked different questions, and got their goal. Disappointed that we didn't defend that better, but sometimes these things happen. What I am pleased with is our reaction to going 2-1 down was to get back on the front foot and increase our intensity, which is key. So yeah, I think a draw probably is fair, and you'd probably take that pre-game, and like you say, I thought very good advert for non-league football with two sides, different sides, wanting to play the game in different ways, but both very good at it and both entertaining. Both with plenty of quality through their, I say 11, but actually the squads, because I think both sides brought subs on who made a real difference. So hopefully some of those extra 400-500 who came today, who don't normally come, will have enjoyed having me back soon.
You said about reactions to goals today was all about character as well. As much as we've put some good balls into boxes, there was a lot of character on show today from the players.
Yeah, loads of character, and it got questioned rightly at Atherton. I don't think we've even had to question that at all since then. I think the reaction has been superb. Players have a bit more belief, but equally, and we saw it last week, we went 2-0 down early doors and could have crumbled, and if that had been 6-7 weeks ago, that could have been a 6-0, it could have been embarrassing. But we got back into that game, and we did the same today. I thought we showed a lot of character. I thought we showed a lot of bravery in the second half, and people, when you talk about bravery, think about, I'm going to go on sliding tackles and blocks and things like that. For me, bravery is I'm going to go and get on the ball in a tight area and make something happen. And if you look at G. Balthazar, Mason, Jack Marrow, all wanted to go and get on the ball and make things happen. I thought you saw it with Eric coming, making selfless runs in the second half, dragging defenders about, knowing that he's not going to get the ball, but influencing the game by making those runs. I thought you saw it with Bailey Marsden being brave getting the ball. Mark Lees, I thought, dropped in between our centre halves, and that allowed our fullbacks to get incredibly high. And you just saw a lot of players who were like, I'm gonna take control of this and I'm gonna really influence it. I mean, both centre halves at various points were when marauding forward and stepping into midfield, and Luke Barlow scored the first goal. I have no idea why he was where he was, but he finished it incredibly well. And that's what I mean by bravery. It's players saying, I'm going to go and get myself in a position where I can influence the game. I'm going to go and receive the ball in a tight area. I'm going to take the more difficult option. I'm not going to take the easy option of playing a 20-yard ball back to Finn. I'm going to open up and I'm going to fizz the ball into a tight area, into Mason or to Bailey. And I thought first half, I thought a bit of that was lacking. I thought second half we showed that in abundance.
We've spoken a bit about, on the left-hand side, Obbs and Casper have got a good relationship, but today we saw Jack Marrow and Mason Fawns were unbelievable in the second half, almost unplayable at times. How good were they together today?
Yeah, I mean, Mason wasn't playing on the right, so it was interesting to see how that developed. So we had G on the right, Jack behind him, and we've worked a lot on kind of Mason drifting in and Jack getting round, and we know Jack's a marauding fullback and he possesses a lot of quality from out there. And Jack's quality and delivery today was absolutely superb. What we saw was G taking that Mason role in the second half, he was drifting in, and Mason then had the licence to drift from the 10, and that movement and fluidity across that 3 was really impressive. And it's difficult for teams to deal with. If you've got Mason drifting wide and dropping deep, and you've got G drifting in, you've got Jack marauding forward, you've got Bailey making runs from deep, you're asking lots of different questions, and all that's happening. You've got Eric spinning in behind, and Obbs drifting in, and it's difficult to defend. And they were well organised, well structured side. It needed all those players to be unpredictable, making movements, asking different questions, dragging players around to break them down. And credit to our players, we did that. We asked, we made the movements, we dragged them around, and we broke down what I think are one of the best organised sides in our league.
And from a goals perspective, we've probably struggled this season with strikers scoring goals. We've not struggled scoring goals themselves. We've had a good contribution, and we spoke a lot about Eric's contribution to the team over the time that Reece has been injured. But 2 goals in 2 games and 2 really good goals as well.
Yeah, I think last week was a real instinctive goal. Really hit it well. I thought today was the sort of goal I expect Eric to score. He's so good at balls in both boxes. In fairness, if you put a ball into an area, if you see, does it time and time again, as in our area, defending corners, he goes and gets to the end of it, and it was a good ball. It was a great ball. But what a header! His movement, his timing, direction, power. I think he hit the back of the net before the keeper could react, and that's no discredit to the keeper. It was just such a good header. And I do think if we give Eric that type of service, he'll score goals regularly. And he's a confidence player. Most strikers are confidence players, and he should go into the next game with tons of confidence, because I thought second half he was superb. He was selfless. He did all the horrible stuff like you do as a striker, making those runs when you know you're never going to get the ball, dragging defenders about, taking the bumps, and he got his rewards today. And long may it continue, because he deserves it. It's a great lad. He's got great attitude, brilliant part of the squad, and it's nice to see him getting on the score sheet.
And it'd be unfair to not talk about probably Eric's goal is the key moment in the game, but the other key moment was an unbelievable save from Finn right at the very death.
It's as good, I think, as I've ever seen at any level of football. The first save was good, the second save was unbelievable. To be able to react, having made that first save and to be down on the ground and to react, the ball couldn't have travelled more than 3 yards from the forward's foot, and to react and not just to get something on it, but to turn it up and over the bar was unbelievable. How that didn't go in, I don't know, and that's the value that Finn brings. I thought he was superb today. Yeah. I thought he kicked well. I thought his distribution was good. I thought he joined in when he had to and played from the back. I thought he made a couple of good stops. Well, that was sensational, and it's just a shame that after the back performance he now goes away for a week, and that's the joys of non-league football, unfortunately. So it's a shame, because that's a platform to build from, but it is what it is. But I mean, I can't speak highly enough of Finn. I think we've seen he's been with us 18 months, and he came in as somebody to come in and be a number 2. came in on trial. In fairness, came in as then we saw something there, brought him as a number 2. He's attitude ever since. He's got fitter, he's got stronger, and now I think he's one of the best keepers in this division. I really do. I think he's got presence, he's got stature, his distribution is good, and he's as good a shot stopper as you'll see. He's for a guy his size, he's so agile, and he's a lovely bloke as well. If anything, I'd like him to be a bit nasty, get a bit of Peter Schmeichel's about him at times, but I'm not sure he's got that in him. But I can live with that if he pulls says like that whenever it's needed.
And we move on. City Liverpool at home on Tuesday night. Quick turnaround against the team who we don't have a great record against overall. Thoughts on that one? So
that takes on a lot of importance now. Had we won today, the pressure was off on that one a little bit. I think that the quality of today's point will depend massively on whether we pick up 3 on Tuesday. I said that to the players. So it was a good point despite we didn't do more. I thought the second goal was completely avoidable. I thought we probably dropped off slightly in our intensity after we scored the first, and that just allowed them to get back into the game a little bit when we'd been completely dominant. We raised it again after the goal and deserved the equaliser, but I thought we dropped our levels a little bit. So I was disappointed to only get a point, but it was a decent point. That becomes a good point if we win on Tuesday. It is a quick turnaround. I think we've got a couple of knocks and niggles, that's to be expected. There's various other things going on as ever in non-league football in terms of player ins and outs and all that kind of stuff, so possibly a couple of changes. But we saw today we've got plenty of quality on the bench, we've got plenty of depth in the squad. We've got more than enough to beat City Liverpool, but it's always an if, isn't it? It's if we turn up, if we get everything right, if we do all the basics right, if we work harder than them, if we show the great determination we did in the second half, if we show some of the quality we did in the second half, I'd back us. I said this to the players, I'd back us against anyone in the league, but we've got to get it right, and we haven't yet got that consistency that we need, even within games. I think we've probably had 60, 70 good minutes today, and 20, 30 where I thought we were probably 2 or 3 levels below where we needed to be. So we've kind of upped the ante. We've put the pressure on the players on Tuesday night, and for me it's a must-win game if we really want to cement ourselves in that mid-table group and be more looking up the table than down. I think we failed to win on Tuesday. We start to look a bit nervously over our shoulders again.
Thanks, David.
Cheers, Nathan.